What's up, guys? It's your girl Sarah from Sarah Styles here. I am downstairs getting ready to ship my sales from last night and this morning. I do post office pickup, so they can come to me and then I can get things. If something comes in this morning before they pick up, I will just set it out. I do have a like a bench chest that I put everything in. I got it on Amazon. The link for my Amazon store is down below if you wanted to get one as well. The one that I have, but I just had it on my front porch, and it looks like a bench, so no one knows what it is, right? And it has a lock on it, so I do the post office pickup and I put the code in there when they pick it up, so my packages are secure. I've never had an issue with anything being taken or not scanned. I can tell the days that my post office, my regular PO is like off or on vacation, or if he's like on vacation for a week, because they don't get scanned in right away, but they always get scanned. The one time I thought that I had an issue, we were on vacation and this item was not scanning, 3 days on vacation. And so I finally called them and I was like, this item's not scanning. And they're like, well, you have to wait a week before you can file a claim. So we got home and my husband was like, are you sure that you sent it? I was like, yeah, I sent it. And he was like, just go check. And I went and checked my inventory and it was in my inventory. Oops, I did not send it. So that wasn't even really an issue because I didn't send it. That's why it hadn't scanned yet. So I've never had an issue. And it's so helpful, especially right now. But even just with little kids, taking little kids in and standing in line, or even just dropping them off and getting them in and out of the car, it's so helpful to do the post office pickup. So I do that. That is scheduled for today. I'm going to do some packages. I can kind of show you my process. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been doing. I have no new inventory because of what's going on. But then also, if you've been following me, we are in the process of selling our house. And so for the past 3 weekends, we have been out looking at houses and or getting our house ready to show. So I have not sourced in a month. And I am not planning on sourcing until this whole thing is over. Our stores around here, some are limited hours, but most of the thrift stores are still open. However, I'm not going out for a couple of reasons. And everyone make the right choice, the choice that is right for you. I am just sharing what my thoughts are in what I'm doing right now. So I'm not sourcing, one, because we're getting our house ready to list. We are likely going to be moving. So I don't want a bunch of inventory to have to move. And then also I don't have a ton of time right now to actually be photographing and listing items. One, because we are in the process of moving. That's taking up a lot of my time. But then also my kids, I have 3 children and they are now home all the time. And 2 of them are remote learning. Next week is spring break, so I don't have to worry about that then. But then we are definitely off school for a year, or for a month, and then there's talks of being off school for the end of the year. And my oldest he's 14, he's in 8th grade, and he is on an IEP, special needs, autistic, has learning disabilities, all of that. So remote learning with him is not just, send him to a room and he can do it on his own. It is me sitting down with him and going step by step through everything, making sure things are getting done, reaching out to, it's basically me teaching and monitoring him the majority of the day, as well as monitoring a 2-year-old, which in and of itself is a full-time job. And then also my 5-year-old, who she is technically a preschooler, so she doesn't have to remote learn. However, because of kind of where her age is, she's doing some kindergarten work. So her teacher is sending home things that she could be doing, and I would like for her to be doing them to continue her education. Education is important to us, and so if I can help her with that, I am trying to do that as well. So my reselling activity is not going to have a lot. So even if I had time to source, I don't have a lot of time to be listing right now. And then also I am in the boat of, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to bring things to my children if I don't absolutely have to. We're about to move. We really don't need to be getting sick. But then also I really believe in helping and supporting the community and this cause as a whole, and not being out there if I don't have to try and lessen the curve. That being said, that is my stance on it. I am not, everyone needs to do what is right for them and their family. And we are fortunate enough that we build our life around one income. And right now that is my husband's income. So even when we were both working in corporate America, we built our lifestyle around one person's income. So if something were to happen, or like I started staying home, we were able to do that. And so my income is nice. My income allows for us to go on vacations, pay off student loans, kids to do swim lessons, all of those kind of extras, but it is not needed for us to pay our bills. And so I don't feel like it's worth the risk going out to the thrift stores and continuing to do my business and source because of that. And then I also feel there are people who are full-time resellers and they need this income, and the thrift stores are still open, and I feel like me staying home allows more inventory for those people who this is their livelihood and they need it. So that's kind of my stance on it. Again, that is my stance. Everyone needs to do what is right for them and their family. Drop a note down below what you're doing. Are you fully quarantined? Some states, it's like complete lockdown. Nothing is open. I think that we'll probably all be there probably fairly soon. So we'll see. So drop a note down below. Tell me what you're doing, how you're surviving this reselling, or just in general. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some eBay things that I am doing, because I had a pretty decent selling day yesterday and then today, even though I'm not listing new things and I am not spending that much time on there. So some things that I'm doing right now, I am, before my niece just messaged me, I wanted to talk a little bit about that too. So last night, my kids slept in this morning and it was glorious, and that's because they stayed up a little bit late last night. And so my niece, we have 10 cousins. No, that's right. There's 11 cousins, but 3 of them are my children. So we have 8 cousins on my side of the family. And we're all pretty close. 2 sets of family don't live here, but the rest of us all live within like 5 or 10 minutes. We see them, almost weekly. So this quarantine has kind of been hard for them as well. So my niece, she's 11, and she put together a family movie night, and we logged on to Google Chats and they all watched a movie together, and it was so fun. So they could see each other as they were watching the movie, and they were chatting back and forth and laughing together, and just being cousins together without having to actually be together. So that was way cool. If you guys have a family or any kind of connection that you can do like that, I really recommend it in a time like this. Google Hangouts is a great place. Zoom has video chats, FaceTime, Skype, all of that. And that was really cool. So my kids stayed up a little bit late last night doing that, and they slept in this morning, which is amazing. My 14-year-old was actually up before my 5-year-old, which is like, I want to take away his teenage card, right? Like, that's crazy. But it was nice. So me and my husband actually were up this morning around 7 o'clock and drinking coffee and chatting without any kids. It was glorious. I cannot think of the last time that happened, especially with all the house stuff that's going on. So we sat down, chatted a little bit about that. What's happening there, we have a contract on our house. It has a contingency that we have to find a house, otherwise the contract falls through. So we have until Monday to find a house. What's happening now, this week we did have an offer on a house, and we went through the inspection and there was just too much wrong with it. We financially could have afforded buying the house, but it would have been really, really strapped for a while to be able to fix things that needed to be fixed. So we pulled out of that contract. I really believe everything happens for a reason, so we'll see if this is the reason or if we're just meant to be in our house. But we have some really close friends the husband is from Montana, and they had talked about moving back to Montana in a couple years, and with everything that's going on, they're about to have a new baby and families in Montana, and so they just want to go back to Montana. And so they quickly decided a couple days ago, we're going to buy a house in Montana. So they put an offer on that house. We went and actually looked at their house couple days ago, and it would fit all of our needs, and it would be in a price range that we could afford. It's not on the market yet, so we are actually in talks and working with them to possibly purchase their house from them. We have an inspection on their house on Monday, and if all goes well there, then we will likely purchase that house from them. Our inspection on our house is next week, so as long as that goes all well, then we will be moving. It's been a very stressful week trying to find a house and the other house and all of the things that were wrong with it. It was a very stressful week, and I was making myself sick with stress. And I feel very good about the situation that we're in right now. I feel very at peace with, if this happens, that we move into our friend's house. It's in a great location. We can walk to the kids' school. It's by a park. It would fit all of our needs and beyond. And so I'm really hopeful that that's it. But if not, going out and looking at all of these houses has made us realize that we really, truly do love our house. Get out. I'm doing a video. Sorry, my kids. I don't like them on camera. So it has made us more at peace with our house. We are bursting at the seams, and financially speaking, with interest rates, it would have been financially it would be a really good move to move into a house. However, it has made us realize that we really do truly love our house. So I feel far less stressed right now in this weekend than I did this week. So that's great. Let's get into some things that I am doing on the reselling aspect of life to still encourage sales, still get the sales, even though I have no inventory to list and I have minimal time. So I did a live a couple days ago, and you can watch the recording on my channel, but I did a live with some eBay experts, and I've been on eBay about 6 months, consistently on eBay for about 6 months, and I get highs and lows and I can't figure out what to do. Well, they had a couple points. You hear eBay is kind of just set and forget, which is true, but you also have to be doing things daily. Typically it's a listing. I don't have new items to list, so I kind of asked them, like, what are other things I can do to hit the algorithm and get more exposure and encourage sales. So a couple things that they did, there's lots of things. eBay does not hide that there's an algorithm and you have to do certain things to kind of get exposure and all of these things. So a couple things that I normally do, I do promoted listings, which gives you more exposure. I know a lot of older sellers don't necessarily do this or don't do it at the highest rate. And I think that's because they have more steam to go into things, right? Like they have 7,000 reviews going for them. They're making daily sales. They're kind of like this high volume, or they are hitting algorithms in other way. For me, I'm not there yet. And so I do pay for the promoted listings. What that means is that you are paying a percent of your sales back to eBay. So my eBay's fees are just, they're so crazy because you have to pay a valuation fee and then you have to pay a PayPal, and then if you do a promoted listing, and then it's hard to really see exactly how much everything is. But on average, after I do the promoted fees and all of the other things, my fees for eBay are roughly around 20%. So it's not any lower than PoshMark. If you don't do the promoted listings, you will likely be lower than PoshMark. And this is why I love eBay. They have great data in there. And I can see the last time I looked, like 85% of my sales are coming from promoted listings. So if I didn't do them, I would not be making these sales. So I do promoted listings on all of my listings. Let me see what else I do. I typically have a sale running, which I heard kind of helps with the algorithm. I typically have a sale running. So those are kind of the things that I was doing because that's what I'd read and heard. I was listing a lot when I had inventory, and when I was moving PoshMark inventory over to eBay, I was listing almost daily. Doing that, well, I am almost have all my inventory over to PoshMark and time, I have not been listing daily. So some things since I had that live that I've been doing that have helped. I've had a sale on eBay every single day, which for me is big. I was doing, maybe once a week I would get a sale when I wasn't really doing anything. So once a day is really good. And I'm especially because I'm not listing and spending a lot of time. So a couple things that I've been doing since that live. I sent a couple things to auction, things that have been sitting in my inventory for a while, things that I might just donate back. I sent to auction, not necessarily because I want to make money off of it, but Valerie, one of the people on the eBay, told me that kind of gives a bump in the algorithm. So I have sent something to auction every day on eBay. The auctions haven't ended, but I haven't gotten any bids on it or anything. I'm not really doing it to make money off of it, especially because I sent it to auction for like $2. So I'm not expecting to make a ton of money on it, but I am hoping, and it's working, that it hit the algorithm. Another thing that I'm doing is I am ending old listings and selling similar. So you can end a listing and you can end a listing and then relist it, which gives you the same item number. So it shows activity, but it doesn't necessarily appear to be listed. Like if you end it and sell similar, you are listing a new item. What's amazing by ending and sell similar is it takes that exact item and it lists it. You don't have to go through and do new pictures or new titles or new descriptions or new field. Like it's easy. You can go through and sell similar, and in a minute you have a completely new listing. So I'm going through old inventory that I've had for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 months on the platform that has no watchers. And I'm going in and I am ending that. I will go through, so on eBay you can sort your active listings by when they're going to end. And so I'm going through, and if all the items that are going to end soon, I'm going through, if it has no watchers, I will end it and sell similar so it appears as a new listing. If it does have watchers and it is getting good exposure, you know, I know that it's hitting people, it's just not the right person yet, I will go in and move pictures around or change titles or add fields or add another shipping option. Things that as I'm learning eBay, I can update and do. And even Valerie, both of the people were telling me you can go in and even just editing it kind of gives it a new vibe. A lot of people on eBay go through and edit, move pictures, titles, whatever it is, like 5 to 10% of their listings a day. I'm not quite to that time wise. I've been doing like maybe 3% of it, but doing those activities, I have been getting a sale on eBay every day. So that's helpful. I did have to reach out to a buyer today. One of the downfalls to eBay is they don't have to pay right away if you have an auction item or a best offer. And so I did have an item purchased this week. They sent me an email and were like, hey, I get paid on Friday. I'm going to pay on Friday. It's Saturday. They haven't paid yet. So I did have to send them an email. And if they don't come through, I will have to do a case to, say I'm not getting paid. Sometimes that will encourage them to pay and I can ship it. And if not, then I will get my feedback and have to relist it. So that's, something with eBay that you have to do that you don't necessarily have to do on other platforms. Poshmark, what am I doing? Those are my big 2 platforms. Poshmark, I am going through and relisting. I use List Perfectly to cross-post and kind of do a lot of my data mining to keep it all in one place. So I am working on getting all of my Poshmark items into List Perfectly just so I have them all in one place. I have the business plan on List Perfectly and you can do a CSV file so I can export everything and I have all my data in one place, which y'all know me, that's a huge bonus for me as well, having all my data in one place. But then also the nice thing about it is when something sells, you can go in and click sell and it takes it off all the various different platforms. So I am going through getting all of my inventory from Poshmark onto List Perfectly. As I do that, so from List Perfectly, I take it from List Perfectly, I take it from Poshmark, copy it to List Perfectly, and then I relist it to Poshmark. So it shows as it looks like I'm listing on Poshmark. I list it on Poshmark and then I go into the old listing and delete that. And all of that takes me about, 3 minutes to do. And so now it looks like I am listing all the time on Poshmark and it's giving these items that are older new light. On Poshmark, when you list something, it kind of goes to the top of the just in and it gets a lot more exposure. I have about 650 active listings. So my organization, what I'm doing to figure out what order to do this in to make the biggest bang for my buck, I go in and I have an analytical dashboard for Poshmark. I'm actually doing a spring sale for that right now, trying to get people I know they can't be outsourcing right now, so this is a great time to look at your data, restructure some of your business practices and stuff. So I am doing a 50% off sale on the dashboards. The link for all those is down below. You can use the code SPRING and it'll give you 50% off. So I am going through my dashboards looking at my data from spring and saying, okay, what was selling in this spring, and what was selling high, and what did I sell a lot of? And I am starting with those categories to move over to List Perfectly, to relist, to make sure they're on Etsy or eBay, and then also if they fit in other platforms. And that is helping me kind of organize and structure what of the 650 active items, which ones should I move over and kind of stay organized. So I'm going through Poshmark. I did all of my dresses this week. That is moving into spring. That is one of my top categories, highest average sale price, as well as total quantity sold. So I moved all of my dresses from Poshmark onto List Perfectly, relisted them, and then made sure they were all on eBay. And then I put them on Tradesies, Etsy, and Depop if they fit and they were not already on there. Those are the platforms that I sell on right now. As I get done with this, if we still cannot source and I'm at a position that I have to do more, I will probably start cross-posting to Mercari. Let me know down below if you use Mercari and what you like. I've heard their shipping is kind of a pain unless you have items under 1 pound, and I do a lot of shoes and purses, so they're not under 1 pound, and you can't, put them in a little poly mailer. So that's kind of why I've been hesitant to Mercari. So let me know what you guys do there as well, or if there's other platforms that you like selling on. Definitely eBay and Poshmark are the bulk of my sales right now. Etsy is for the dashboard. I've only made a couple vintage sales on Etsy for that. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and it is keeping me, my sales are definitely lower than they have been in previous months, but I have absolutely no inventory costs. So all of my sales are take home, net income. I have a couple expenses here and there. I had to buy packaging tape, I don't know, a couple things here and there. But as far as inventory, I have spent $0 on inventory. So my net income is actually looking okay for the month. It's down a little bit, but because I'm not spending money on inventory, my net income is actually looking okay. So that's something too that you can be doing as well. If you really need so much money a month, look at your expenses. What can you cut? When you're outsourcing, be really diligent in what you are. So if you are outsourcing, be really diligent in what you're sourcing so that you can keep your expenses at a minimum. So your net income, if you're not selling as much, you can increase your net income, what you're taking home, if your expenses are lower. It's nice to have a good net income. However, eventually, I can't do this forever, I'm going to run out of inventory. So we will see. I was chatting with some people yesterday about sourcing online. So I think if we move and the situation is still I cannot be outsourcing, I will start looking at doing some sourcing online. Either for a lot of resellers are doing reseller boxes, I can possibly do that. Or, there's like B&G, or you can do ThredUp, or Goodwill has boxes. So I might have to start looking at getting creative there. I'm not at that point right now. Like I said, we're getting ready to move and I have 600 active listings. So I'm not to that point right now because we are getting ready to move. I don't want to increase my inventory just to move it to another house. So hopefully in like a month, we'll see where we're at in a month, and I will have to start trying to figure all that out. So I am down here. I am getting ready to package up some items. I can show you how I do that. So let me show you a package before I start doing a lot. So in all of my packages, I include a business card. See? And it has a QVR, I can't remember it, but one of these codes on the back. You take a picture of it and my link tree pops up to all my various different places. And then I just write, enjoy this sweater, Heart Sarah. That's it, that's my packaging. If it is a high ticket item or needs, so this is a cashmere sweater. So I package it in plastic. I don't love doing this because of the can't think of the word. It's not great for the environment. I want to say economy, but that's not the word. But it's not great for the environment. So I really try to minimize my package usage. However, it's a cashmere sweater. I want to protect it. Depending on the item, I will use, so this is a Poshmark sale. I will use one of these so all of your USPS packaging is free if you go online and order it. So I order a bunch of these, and this is waterproof as well. I do still like to package it if it is, you know, like a cashmere sweater or leather or something, or a high ticket item, I will as well. So I put it in there. And then I do try and limit my supplies. One from the environment, that's what I was thinking of. One from the environment standpoint, but then also from a cost. So this is already packaged in plastic and then it's sealed. If I didn't package it in plastic, you know, it was like a pair of jeans or something, I would tape the top because I don't want, you know, water seeping in. So that is that. I have a printer up. This is also our laundry room, but I have a printer up there. And so I can just send my stuff to the printers. I don't use a laser printer. I currently just use my regular printer. I order paper off of Amazon. I found it the cheapest there. And then actually through HP, you can subscribe to ordering ink. And if you subscribe, it's significantly cheaper and they automatically send it to you every month. So I don't have to remember to order it. I think I'm on a package that costs me maybe $10 a month, and it's enough. It's like per pages, so I think I get like 150 pages a month, ink worth pages a month, and they automatically ship it to me, and it costs me like $10 a month. So that works for me right now instead of doing a laser printer. So I print that out, and then let me see what name this is. So this is my label. For the time saving, I just fold it and tape it on. So that is my shipping process. I will show you Alright, so that is PoshMark. I do love PoshMark because it takes that long. I mean, it is so easy to ship on PoshMark. Yeah, so this is my shipping station. It's not very organized, but these are all my boxes. I have envelopes there. That's where my business cards are. This is where I keep different size plastic. And then right here I have a computer. This is my old computer. I thought about selling it, but it is actually really nice to have a computer down in my packaging area so I don't have to take my laptop with me. And I can log on to eBay and print my labels from there. And then I can also on list perfectly if something sells on list perfectly, or if something sells, I can go on list perfectly, mark it as sold. It takes it off of all the various different platforms. So that is my process. I'm going to get to shipping. I think I have like 5 items, which for me is pretty good, a pretty good selling day. So I'm gonna get to it. Process. I had 4 packages, 2 on eBay, 2 on PoshMark. I did have one that came in yesterday that I shipped out before my postman picked up, which is the nice thing about post office pickup. My turnaround time is usually pretty quick, so I need to get these out so he can pick them up before he comes. So I'm about to take them upstairs, but that is it. 4 packages today, 1 yesterday, 5 sales in 1 day is actually pretty normal for me, and so it's really good considering I haven't been doing as much, so I'm actually really happy with that. I will probably do a little bit more reseller type things today just because we're not out looking at houses, to kind of catch up, do some more cross posting, maybe do some activities on PoshMark, followers, engaging in the community, all of that. So I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and is staying safe out there in whatever capacity is what's right for you and your family. So have a good day.